Hi guys, how we doing? Welcome back to another video. So I'm teaching myself microcontroller programming using this product called EBlocks, and I believe this is lesson 14 now. So in the last video I made it, it's a bit dark, you can't really see, but we was asked to code it so that when I pressed the push button, so I read an 8-bit byte there on my inputs, and then that got written to the LEDs on this output here, but shifted one over, and then that would stay on for 2 seconds. So it's a bit, my room's too bright, but you can see it. So if I press that LED, or that push button down, the next one turns on there. Can you see it? Yep, there you go. And it stays on for 2 seconds. That just turned off. Cool. Alright, so what we do now. Next one is... I'm kind of getting the hang of this, but kind of not. I spoke to my boss a little bit, and you know, he's mentioned that he agrees that this curriculum is shocking, so I'm going to improve it over time. But let me first get through it, learn everything I need to learn, and then I'll look at rewriting this whole thing. So write a program to create a counter. Oh, by the way, just so you know, I'm on programming exercises, page 75, inputting data. And yeah, so write a program to create a counter that contains 2 loops, counts up when switch 0 is pressed. Okay, so when I press this switch, then it wants to count up and count down when that button is pressed. Displays the count value, the count on the LED array of a suitable port. So again, I mean, I don't know how to do this, but I'm expecting what's going to happen here now with this is when I press this button and I hold it down for 1 second, if the microcontroller is going and its cycle time is 1 millisecond, then that's 1,000 button presses, you know. And I don't even know what the cycle time of these controllers is. I think 300 megahertz. I have no idea. Does it even say it on here? And it's like that. That's the sort of stuff that I want to be learning, that I'm just not learning from this curriculum at all. I'm just programming random stuff, and it just feels completely random. And yeah, anyways, so I suspect this is what's going to happen. Let's see what happens. So I'll make a new program quickly. So Flowcode 14, and then we've got a while loop. So when you press, we need to select a specific port now. So I've got an input. Let's just start again. So I've got an input, and I want it so that when you press port A, but I want a specific bit. When you get bit 0 of port A, write that to a variable, and let's call it input 0. Make that, yep. I made that, oh damn. I made that a byte, that variable, and I think that needs to be a bit. So when you press the first button, then that writes to this bit input, this variable input 0. I'm going to do the same now for input 1. So I've got my inputs there now. Oh damn, I made that a byte as well. Edit, cool. All right, so now what I want is I want to count up. So when I press either one of these, I want one to count up, one to count down. So I just don't really know how microcontrollers, how the program side of it works to be able to program this correctly. I kind of want to say if, like, I kind of want to, I don't know, I want to do an if statement. Where's an if statement? A decision. And I kind of want to say if input 1, if input 0 is on, then do X, and then there, if I don't even, yeah, I don't know how Flowcode works. I don't know how microcontrollers work. I haven't been taught how to use this software in this curriculum, which is frustrating. So if input 0, if input 1. So if I've pressed the first button, then that what did it want me to do? Did it want me to count down, was it? Count up when the first one's pressed. So now we need a variable for counting. Let's just call it counter. We'll do it as a byte, sure. Give it an initial value of 0. Okay, so then now we need a calculation block. They showed me how to like use like 2 or like 3 functions, and I don't even know if there's other stuff if I should be doing this in a macro or something. I don't know. So counter, what I'd love to do is just counter plus plus. That's just not going to work, is it? Counter is equal to counter plus 1. And then if otherwise, if you get the other button, then counter is equal to counter minus 1. Does that work in my head? I'm not sure. So what I've got here is you read in the inputs, and if you've got input 0 on, then increment the counter. Otherwise, if you don't, check. What happens if you've got them both? Yeah, it's kind of undefined. And I guess I'd like a delay in there, but I just would like to prove to myself that it's going to count up high. So the last thing to do is to just write the, this counter value to the output. So but take that and I write my was it counter? Write my counter and write that to port B LEDs. There we go. Let's see how that goes. So what I hope happens here is that I press the button down for a second and I get like a massive count value. So obviously we're going to see it in binary counting up. So if all these LEDs start turning on, that means we've gone way above 255, which is what I'd expect to happen. But I don't know what's going to happen actually. So I'm going to press my first button, which is counting up. Yeah, so again, you guys can't see. Let me turn off the lights, sorry. Alright, so should be able to see better there now. That the problem, and this is exactly what I expected. So if I reset the program now, I press my button, it goes immediately to 250, 255, sorry, which is what you expect. And then I don't know what that is. Like that's just literally just completely undefined bit. I don't even know. Like as I tap it, it's just spitting random numbers. I think it's just completely lost. And then if I count down, yeah, nothing. So at this point, as a programmer, I'm a programmer. I've been programming for 20 years, not full time, but I've been programming for 20 years. So I kind of expected this behavior. But would a 16-year-old kid, especially one that's it's an introduction to microcontroller programming, and then that's it, you just like so you look at the curriculum here, and then it just goes, all right, make another program now. It's beyond me how bad. And you know what? This is a classic case actually of really clever people. Sometimes really clever people forget what it's like to be dumb, or what it's like to be new. If you've been programming for 45 years, it's especially if you haven't been teaching new people how to program in that time, you just kind of forget what it's like to be to not understand what a bit is. Anyway, so to try and solve this, let's see if I can put a delay on my I can either put a delay on my calculation, or perhaps do I put a delay when I read the input? Maybe for example, I only read the input. You always want to read the input. So then after reading the input, then I can just have a delay of 100 milliseconds. And I think that would get rid of this problem. So I don't want to put the delay before reading the input. It shouldn't make a difference actually. It's kind of hard to get my head into. So with a PLC, I know the cycle time is going to be usually about 5 milliseconds. And that's just because the PLC is running its own like operating system almost, and it's doing a bunch of stuff. This microcontroller is like just bare bones. It's just running like this code. So, all right, I've put, as you can see here, I've put 100 millisecond delay after I've read my inputs. So let's see what happens now. If I press this button, and it just counts. It's still really fast, but only every 100 milliseconds. So I could count down from here now. So that's cool. I like that. I can accept that. I mean, that seems faster to me than 100 milliseconds. That. So okay, so let's count to 3 seconds. So in 3 seconds we'd expect it to count 30 times. So it should be at around 30 in 3 seconds. I'm gonna hold it down 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3. So what number is that? We got 1, 2, 4, 8, 16. Yeah, that's probably about 30 actually. Yeah. Alright, I'm happy with that. That's cool. I like that. Yeah. So it worked out in the end. Just that delay, but I just wish we had more guidance here. Anyways, you know, just a line there. You could just add a line to say, ensure you use a delay to deal with debounce and to deal with the mic. Remember that the microcontroller will be going very fast, so you want to add a delay after you've read your inputs or something like that. Anyways, cool. Thanks for watching, guys. Next, I'll break this up into multiple videos because otherwise the videos become too long. And yeah, so next video we'll do whatever this says. Not even gonna bother reading it. Something about LEDs, blah 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 blah. Cool. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.